Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ante Room, brought to you by Heart in Hand, the Modern Oddfellows Guide, at oddfellowsguide.com. If you want to learn more about the Independent Order of Oddfellows, please check out ioof.org. On today's episode, we will be watching a special presentation on lodge education by Darren Lanners, who is a member of my lodge, Tuscola 316 in Illinois, and he is mostly active with Freemasonry, and he is a regular contributor to the Midnight Freemason blog, which I have linked in the description. Go.
All right, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Darren Lanners. I'm a member here, but I'm also a Freemason, as well as Greg and Todd. We're all Freemasons. I serve the Grand Lodge of Illinois as the area education officer for the Eastern area. So education's a passion of mine. And I'm more than happy to talk about lodge education today. And my goal is hopefully when I'm done, you'll have some ideas of how to do education. It's not difficult. So if it's not difficult, how do you start? I think that education's lacking in lodges, both Masonic and Oddfellow lodges, for two reasons. First reason is you get we've always done a meeting this way. It's not in the business order. Blah, blah, blah. So I call the people making excuses for why you can't try something new in a lodge, in a Masonic lodge, those are the grumpy past masters. So I guess for Oddfellow lodges, it would be a grumpy past grand, like Ainsley, for example, I guess. But what we found, Greg, Todd, and myself, is that those that were opposed to lodge education at first really have come to expect it. The second reason is you just don't know how to begin. Beginning is easy. First and foremost, lodge education doesn't need to be always related to your lodge. In fact, you guys have already been doing education. You want to guess how? So when you take your trip to Demolin Museum, that's education. How many times have you had a community member up here or a guest speaker? That's education. How many times do you guys have a potluck or a movie night and you get together and you discuss things? That's education. So anytime you have lodge members together and you're experiencing something together and you're learning from the experience and you're learning from the experience of each other and having a dialogue, that's education. So other than the above, what can you do in lodge? So within the last year in the Grand Lodge of Illinois, the Masonic Grand Lodge of Illinois, under the leadership of our state education officer, Scott Duvall, they designed a program for every lodge to use. And every month, basically, Grand Lodge sends out a topic and a series of talking points. And it's a really good program. The topic could be a part of the ritual, a symbol, history. What the topic is isn't really important. It's the talking points and the discussion that those points bring up that is important. And you need to remember, there are no wrong answers to the talking points. So for example, let's look at the three links, which is familiar to the Oddfellows as the square and compass is to the Freemasons. So I want you to picture the symbol. It's all over the lodge room here. And I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'm going to ask each of you to get a dialogue going. And once again, there are no wrong answers. So I'd like everyone to try to participate. If you don't want to, that's okay. I'm not going to force you to. So the first question I would ask is, the three links symbolize friendship, love, and truth. How would you practice that in your daily life? So anybody want to volunteer to begin, or do I have to start picking on people?
That's why you brought this one.
I'll pick on you, Ainsley. you get to go first.
Okay, I figured I would get nabbed first. So how do I incorporate the 3 links into my daily life? Is that
just one thing?
just
yeah.
one thing?
Yeah.
One thing I do is I always wear at least one ring or something to kind of be a reminder to myself to uphold the principles of it.
Links in or out? I'm just kidding.
I like to wear 2 rings, one for me and one for everybody else.
All right, there
So.
you go. Anybody else? A lot of shy people here. All right,
The basic,
let's get it, Danny.
the basic plans of our premise of Oddfellows, treat others as you wish to be treated yourself, the golden rule.
Golden rule. All right. Did you have something else, Danny?
Just living my example, you know, walking my truth, living my truth instead of anything else. So,
To be strong and be flexible. That's
That actually answers the next question I'm going to come up with. But how about you? Anything?
Just being the friend that you would want for yourself.
Jamie?
So to me, Oddfellows is a lot about building your community and your 3 links to friendship, love, and truth. You are that in the lodge, but you're also that as an extension of the lodge community.
Thanks. Sarah?
Just being a decent human being and not being so hateful and understanding what other people go through. Not,
Having empathy.
yeah, empathy.
Tosh?
For me, it's kind of like as simple as just checking in with somebody, making sure they're okay. And I mean, I work with Ainsley, so every day is a little FLP.
Hey, what happens at Vintage Karma stays at Vintage Karma. Gene, what about you?
Well, I always thought, person should be truthful. If someone asks you something, tell them the truth. Not for Odd Fellowship, because everyone wants to know, don't try to spread it out somewhere else. Always be truthful what you say.
So what other illusions do the 3 links have? You gave one. Jamie kind of alluded to one also in her answer. What else do you guys have?
bundle of sticks. Together we're stronger. Frankly.
Same principle, yeah.
a link could represent a person and each person in a line, or it could represent each lodge in a line around the world, and that we're all connected.
When I see those 3 links, they make me think that despite the 3 colors of the links, they're basically the same, which would tell me that all of us are the same. We're equal at heart, despite maybe our outward appearance or inward appearance even. I think so much society, we're so judgmental today of so many things, but yet when you bring it down to its core, those 3 links, I think as you said too, they bind us together, they hold us together, and they kind of represent who we are together, and separate one of the links out, and it weakens the whole. Or if you're cast out, you would weaken the whole. But bringing the links back together strengthens the entire. That's what I was going to say.
And plus, there's a lot of old kind of poetry and stuff written about, waxing poetic about the 3 links and how we come into the order as almost like slaves to our ignorance, and with a symbol of slavery is chains, heavy iron chains, but then through Odd Fellowship and through almost like that spiritual alchemical process, those heavy burdensome chains are through transference, they become a very light, beautiful golden chain that we then are able to connect through each other and not be separated by each other. So there's It's a lot that you can kind of sit and contemplate with it for such a simple image.
Exactly.
There's kind of a we thing that goes on with that also, like you were talking about wearing the rings.
Mhm.
You know, one of those links is us, together we're a group. And when you join a fraternity like the Odd Fellows, we all represent each other. So as I go through my daily life and I have square and compass on my bumper or on my license plate, I'm always trying to remind myself that what I do reflects on everybody else that's in that group as well. So
Plus, things that come in threes have all sorts of things that could come along with that.
You're stealing all my
I am
questions.
so sorry. I'll
You're
be
just
quiet.
robbing me. So my next question was, other than having a link representing friendship, love, and truth respectively, why do you think there are 3 links? Think about what the number 3 can represent. Ainsley can't answer because I know he wrote an article about this. So everybody else gets an answer. So why did the number 3? What do you think the 3 links? What else could the 3 links represent?
Schoolhouse Rock wrote a song about how 3 is a magic number.
It is a magic number, yes.
It takes
It's true.
3 legs to make a table stand.
True.
It's the number of harmony.
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
No,
You want a hint?
I don't know. Yeah.
Birth, life, death. You're born, you live, you die. Can't escape it. We're all gonna do that. Anybody else? Number 3. What?
The Holy Trinity and how the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit were all children under them, so we gotta like stay together in order to go to heaven.
Okay. No, that's good.
Or it could
Like
be
I said,
the alchemical Holy Trinity.
there are no wrong answers here. Discussion.
it seems like 2 is just not enough. 3 gives you that. If Ainsley and I are only having a discussion together, we're limited by our own set of knowledge, but yet when we introduce the third person who has a different perspective or different life experiences, that builds he and I as we're having that same conversation, and so it strengthens it. It just seems like that third person is just enough to add that diverse perspective or those different life experiences than necessarily 2 of us bring to a conversation or to a task.
3 points on a line makes it more accurate mathematically.
It's infinitely more flexible by having 3, because you could go in different directions, whereas if there's only 2 links, it can only go up or down instead of both up and down at the same time. Back to that strong yet flexible.
So if the links weren't the symbol or weren't adopted as the symbols, the Oddfellows, what other symbols could convey the same message? Should I let you answer?
No, I was just saying, like that heart and hand. I feel like that's really
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
So what else? You got the heart in the hand.
There's all kinds.
Bundle sticks.
Bow and arrow, quiver,
Right.
or part of them.
The bundle of sticks, as you said earlier.
Bundle of sticks, the beehive.
The beehive. I was thinking a triangle,
Mm-hmm.
which I think has been used before. So there are a lot of things that convey the theme that you've mentioned. And last but not least, of the friendship, love, and truth, which is most important to you personally? If you had to pick.
It's hard to separate them out because it's almost like with the friendship you learn, it's like all about battling your own human nature. So it's like the friendship is like learning to do something for somebody that is your friend, even though it puts you at a disadvantage. So that's kind of an easy lesson for everybody to learn. It gets a little bit harder with the second degree when you're learning to help somebody that's not your friend?
Shh, you're gonna spoil it. Spoilers.
Ooh. Oh no! I know we're giving the big secrets away.
Say again?
But so you learn, okay, I gotta help people that I don't want to help. That it's easy to help your friends even if it kind of screws you over a little bit. But to help somebody that is somebody who would normally be somebody you'd have nothing to do with, that's tougher. And then to get to the third link to learn the truth, that's where you get the wisdom to know who is the person to help and not to just give away everything and be taken advantage of, but to be wise about it. So you need all three together. You can't just remove one of the links away or one of the degrees away. You need all of them together to support each other, or else it all just falls apart.
True friendship is aided by love and truth both. Without them, you really don't have true friendship.
Fair.
Was it like through actions and deeds? Is that what it was? It's like you can't be a friend or show true love without actually having that action.
Having a friendship involved,
Yeah.
yes. Because if you're friends, you're gonna be truthful to each other.
Even when
And you eventually end up loving each other out of the whole deal, so. For true friendship, you've got all three.
That's fair. Anyone else? So the idea of education is to get everyone to think about the ritual, symbols, history, whatever you're discussing. The most important part of that above statement is to get everyone to think. The questions I came up with above, just basically questions that follow what we do with our symbols or ritual in Masonic Lodge, but you don't have to be that granular. You can easily just go around the room and ask everyone their favorite symbol and why it is. That's education. Or somebody comes in, gives a presentation like you're going to have here in a couple of weeks. That's education. Just remember, the idea is to get the dialogue going, to learn about each other, and to learn from each other. So if you're going to start a program, I'd suggest a couple of things. Make everybody responsible at first to help out with it. If somebody's really drawn to it and really wants to do it, then you can slowly transition it to them. But in the beginning, share the load between all of you. You know, pick somebody to say, okay, I want you to give an educational piece. I don't care what it is, just come to Lodge with something for us to discuss. It's as easy as that. And like I said, as you get better at it, you might find one person in the Lodge that really takes to it, really wants to guide the discussions, and then you can let them take over. In the Masonic Lodge, we have a Lodge Education Officer, that's his responsibility. And then there's a District Education Officer that handles the district, and then the Area Education Officer handles all the districts in that area. So, but it really is going to depend on the culture of your lodge. You know, how important you want education to be to your lodge. And then it's easy to start. Any questions?
That's awesome.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.